Hello friend, let's start with today's discussion. So, starting with the heartbreaking news of 1st June 2022 is playback singer KK passes away in Kolkata. So, popular Hindi playback singer Krishna Kumar Kunnant, also known as KK, died in Kolkata on Tuesday. The 53-year-old singer was in Kolkata for a performance at Nazrul Mancho in the city. Soon after the program, the singer complained of feeling unwell when he was returning to a hotel around 10:30 pm. He was declared dead on arrival at a city hospital. So after completion of the live performance in a stage in Kolkata, he told that he was feeling unwell and he was taken to hospital, and suddenly he collapsed, and when he was taken to hospital, the doctor declared that he was brought dead. Okay, very sad news, because he is only 53-year-old and one of the most famous playback singer, versatile playback singer in Bollywood. He won the Best Playback Singer Male Screen Award in 2009 for Khuda Jaane from the movie Bachna Hai Hasino. Okay, move to next topic. Q4 GDP growth declares to 4.1%. So Q4 means quarter 4. Fourth quarter GDP growth declared as 4.1%. Fourth quarter means the last 3 months of the 2021-22 year. Last 3 months means January, February and March. This 3 month combinedly, the GDP growth is 4.1%. So India's gross domestic product GDP growth slowed to a 4 quarter low 4.1%. 4 quarter low means out of the four quarter, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, this is the lowest. The Q4 growth is lowest, that is 4.1% during the January to March period, from 5.4% in the preceding quarter. So Q3 GDP growth was 5.4%. As manufacturing output shrank, provisional national income estimated released on Tuesday. Now, as a result, full year growth came in at 8.7%. This is the most important point. Full year growth means the total GDP of 2021-22 year, total GDP growth of the previous year 21-22 is 8.7%. If you remember that previous year 2020 on the GDP growth was at negative 20%, something that, but this year we recovered our economy and the growth came as 8.7%. Gross value added in the economy is estimated to have grown 8.1% in the 2021-22. So we calculate GDP on the gross value added basis. So gross value added grown at 8.1% in 2021-22. Okay. Then the GDP had shrunk 6.6% in 2020-21, while the GVA had contracted 4.8% in the wake of the COVID-19 lockdown. So if you go through this website, you will get the details of GDP of the previous year. So this website is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, and they are saying that gross domestic product 21-22 is 8.7%. Click it and press note. So provisional estimate of annual national income 21-22, quarterly estimate of GDP for the fourth quarter Q4 of 21-22. Okay, so provisional estimate of national income expenditure components of GDP 2022 at 11-12 price. Okay, so here it is written as GDP number 3 point, GDP gross domestic product is 8.7% in 2021-22, while it was minus 6.6% in the previous year, that is 2021. It was minus 6.6%, and this year it become 8.7%, a huge growth of economy of our country. So how the GDP is calculated? 1 plus 2 means GVA, gross value added at basic price, plus net taxes on product. These two combinedly calculate the GDP. Okay. Now net domestic product is GDP minus the depreciation value of the product. If you deduct the depreciation means some type of product like iron product, steel product. Okay, this type of product the value of the product will get reduced for after some times. Okay, due to loss of property like rusting of iron. So if you deduct the depreciation value, it will be called as net domestic product. So net domestic product is 8.8, growth is 8.8%, while GDP growth is 8.7%. Okay. Now what they say is that quarter 4 GDP growth declared as 4.1%. So what is the quarter 4 GDP growth? Yes. So quarterly estimate of expenditure component GDP at 2021-22. So this is given. So share of GDP. Okay, so 2021-22 quarter 4, it is the quarter 4 GDP is 4.1%, where quarter 3 GDP was 5.4, quarter 2 was 8.4, and quarter 1 was 20.1. The first 3 months means April, May, June, the GDP growth was 20.1. Then July, August, September, the growth was 8.4. Then October, November, December, the growth was 5.4, and then finally January, February, March 2022 was 4.1%. Okay, so basically the GDP growth reduced from quarter 1 to quarter 4. Okay. Now some previous projection. Previously estimated, some organization previously projected the growth of India, like SBI Economics C quarter 4 GDP growth showing under 3%. So 3 to 4 weeks earlier, the SBI Economics 3 to 4 days earlier, the SBI Economics published a report that quarter 4 GDP growth of India will be less than 3%. But actually the quarter 4 growth was 4.1%, greater than the prediction of SBI Economics. Then Moody's pairs India 2022 growth projected as 8.8%. So Moody's pair projected that India GDP growth will be 8.8%, and it is nearly the actual value. India growth is actually 8.7%, and Moody released this book Global Macro Outlook for 2022-23. Then IMF through their World Economic Outlook publication forecasted that growth will be 8.2%, where World Bank through their biannual South Asia Economic Focus Reshaping Norms and New Way Forward publication forecasted that India's growth will be 8%. So everyone is projected that India's growth will be nearly 8%, and finally the authorized department, that is the Central Statistics Office, the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation Central Statistics Office finally released that India's GDP growth of 21-22 is 8.7%. Now we should know about GDP, then gross domestic product, then net domestic product, then gross national product, then net national product. Everything we should know one by one. First is, what is GDP? GDP is the value of all final goods and services produced within the boundary of a nation in 1 year. In India, 1 year means from 1st April to 31st March of next year. Okay. So GDP is basically the total value of goods and service produced in India in 1 year. Okay. The main thing of GDP is, the main three thing of GDP is, it is the production inside the boundary of India. Boundary means the political boundary, not the geographical boundary. Political boundary means, suppose a ship is flowing in the sea, and the revenue generated from ship also included in the GDP of India. But the ship is outside the geography of India, but inside the political boundary of India, like aeroplane also. So boundary means political boundary. Inside the political boundary, first thing, then duration is 1 hour, and number 3 is summation of all goods and services produced in India. Goods means you can touch it, and service means you can feel it, like teaching service. Okay. So total value of goods and services produced inside the boundary of India in 1 year. So I am giving one example. Tata is an Indian company, produced some product inside India, and the value of the product is suppose A. And Sony is a foreign company, they also produced a product in India, and the value of product is B. And Tata produced a product in USA, and the value is C. And Sony produced a product in USA, and the value of the product is D. So GDP is A plus B. A plus B. Why? Because this A and B both are produced inside India. Who produced is not necessary. Anyone can produce, but the main thing is it should be produced inside the boundary of India. Okay. So A plus B is the value of GDP, gross domestic product. Now what is net domestic product? I have already told you. GDP minus the depreciation. Depreciation means some steel or iron product is subsequently loses their property during time span. Okay, so that is the drop of value from the initial value, that is known as depreciation. So national net domestic product is GDP minus depreciation. Then gross national product. What is gross national product? GNP is the value of all final goods and services produced by the residents of a country in a financial year, 1st April to 31st March of the next year. So basically GDP and GNP are two different things. GDP is the total production of value of goods and services inside the boundary of India, but GNP is total value of product of goods and services produced by India is the gross national product. The place is not necessary, where the person is producing the product is not necessary. Who is producing the product is necessary. Okay, maybe an Indian is producing a product in USA, that will be also calculated in the gross national product category. Okay, because he ultimately will send the revenue to India. So main thing, difference between GDP and GNP is, GDP is basically the value of product good inside the Indian boundary, and GNP is the total value of product goods and services produced by Indian company or Indian individual, that is GNP. So for GDP, Indian map is main thing, but for GNP, Indian company is main thing, not the Indian map. So I am giving you an example. So Tata is produce a product in India, that is A, and Sony is produce a product in India, that is B, Tata is produce a product in USA, that is C, and Sony produce a product in USA, that is D. So GNP is A plus C. A plus C, because both A and C are produced by Tata. So this is A plus C. So net national product. So net national product is similar to net domestic product. Net national product is GNP minus depreciation. And net national product is called the national income of India. So through this so here it is written as GDP is 8.7%, NDP is minus depreciation 8.8%, okay, and gross national income, this is gross national income, means an Indian company is producing the product, that is also 8.5, that is 8.5% in this year, and net national income is 8.5% in the year 2021-22. Okay, so per capita GDP is 7.6, per capita GNI is 7.4, GNI is gross national income, then net national income is 7.5, 7.5%, it is growth, 7.5% growth, then per capita PFC is 6.9%. So net national income is known as the national income. Net national product is called the national income of India. Now Central Statistic Office is the responsible office to calculate the GDP. Okay, many office will has calculated the GDP, but authorized office is the Central Statistics Office. Now how GDP is calculated, you should know how GDP is calculated. There are three methods: expenditure method, production method, and income method. Expenditure method, GDP equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M, where C is total expenditure by individual, I is total investment by individual in FD mutual fund, G is total expenditure by government by salary manrega, X is export and M is import. So basically in this method GDP is C plus I plus G plus X minus S. C is total expenditure by individual. So when you go to market and purchase something, you pay the some price to shopkeeper. So total expenditure by individual, all the public is the C. Okay, then I is total investment by public in mutual fund, in bank, savings. Okay, then share market, in fixed deposit. Total investment by individual is I. Then G is total expenditure by government to run the government for infrastructure project, for road project. Okay, then salary giving employees, then manrega 100 days work. So total expenditure by government. And finally export, total export. Through export we can generate revenue. So total export minus total import is the expenditure method. We can calculate the GDP. Then production method or gross value added method. So sum of GDP equal to sum of GVA. So I am giving you an example. Production cost of item 1 equal to X. Suppose X is wheat. So production cost of wheat is rupees 20. Then production cost of item 2, that is atta, from item 1, that is Y equal to 60. So production cost of atta is 60, which includes the production cost of wheat, that is rupees 20. So net cost of production of atta is 60 minus 20, that is 40. Then production cost of item 3 from item 2, that is bread, equal to Z equal to 80. So production cost of bread is the ultimate product. Production cost of bread is 80, which includes production cost of atta, that is 60. So net production cost of bread is 80 minus 60, that is 20. So that is known as the GVA, gross value added. So gross value added for atta is 60 minus 20, 40, and gross value added for bread is 80 minus 60, that is 20. So sum of gross value added is 60. So GDP is 60. So in this way, for all product we can calculate GDP, and Government of India recognize this product to calculate the GDP, and because this gives the actual value of GDP. Now income method is GDP equal to W plus P plus IN plus R. W is wages, P is profit, IN is interest, and R is rent. So W is wages, total wages of the public, total wages of the public, individual, job holder, labor. Okay, that is W. Then profit. So if you have business, then you will gain profit from them. Okay, so total profit you gain. So your income, total profit you gain from your business. That interest, total interest you gain from your from bank or from mutual fund, from share market. And R is rent. If you have given your house in rent, then that is also included in income. Total rent you gain. Okay, so this total gives you the GDP value. Okay, so in this three method you can calculate the GDP, but Government of India recognize this method, the production method or gross value added method, to calculate the GDP. Okay, move to next topic. That is, Center clears 86,912 crore rupees of GST dues. So the center on Tuesday paid the entire amount of goods and service tax compensation due to states up to May 31st by releasing an amount of 86,912 crore. The payment include a contribution from its own coffers beyond the 25,000 crore balance in the GST compensation fund. So what is the GST compensation? So while in the time of implementation of GST in 2017, the state promised the center promised the state that any kind of loss due to implementation of GST, if the state will face any kind of loss, the center will compensate the loss for the next 5 years, means from 2017 to 2022. So in this 5 year span, if the state faces loss due to implementation of GST, because GST is totally new, so center will compensate the total GST loss. Okay, that is called as GST compensation. So finally the center releases the, many state was saying that the center was not giving them the GST compensation value. So finally center clears the GST compensation value of 86,912 crore rupees. But the center have actually 25,000 crore balance in their GST compensation fund. So rest amount the center gave from their own pocket. Okay, from pocket means from other fund or from other savings, they managed to give the total value of 86,912 crore to all the states of India. So GST compensation is, the center had committed to compensate state for any revenue loss on account of the transition to GST, which was rolled out in 2017 for a period of 5 years ending in 2022. Okay, so this is the thing. So still the many state is still requesting the center that the GST compensation timeline should be extended for another 5 years. Okay, so state is thinking about that. Center is thinking about that. Move to next topic. June to September rainfall likely to be 103% IMD. So the monsoon rainfall from June to September is likely to be more than that forecasted by the India Meteorological Department in April, with the agency on Tuesday upping its estimate from 99% to 103% of the long period average rainfall. So in April month, the IMD has published a forecast report that the monsoon rainfall in India from the monsoon period start from June to September will be normal across the country. Normal means 90 96 to 97% of the long period average rainfall. This was previously forecasted by IMD, but now yesterday IMD revised their forecast report and told that no, the June to September rainfall will be 103% of the long period average rainfall, not 96 to 97%. Okay, so the rainfall will be more. So India will get heavy rainfall during the June to September period. Okay. Now, also they are saying that the monsoon rainfall over the four broad regions: Central India, Southern Peninsula, North India, Northwest India, Northeast India, Northwest India, for which IMD provided forecast are also likely to be plentiful. Central India and the Southern Peninsula are expected to get 106% of the historical average rainfall is likely to be normal over Northeast and Northwest India. So this is their website. This is the website of Indian Meteorological Department, Ministry of Earth Science. So IMD is under the Ministry of Earth Science, Government of India. Okay. They are also provided the temperature daily basis. So here it will be open. Okay. So Government of India Ministry of Earth Science, India Meteorological Department updated long range forecast of rainfall during southwest monsoon season June to September 2022 and monthly outlook for rainfall and temperature during June 2022. So southwest monsoon seasonal June to September rainfall over the country as a whole is most likely to be normal, 96 to 104% of long period average rainfall. What is long period average rainfall? I will tell you. Then quantitatively the monsoon seasonal rainfall over the country as a whole is likely to be 103% of the long period average rainfall. Okay. Now the long period average rainfall, seasonal rainfall over the country as a whole based on data of 1971 to 2020 is 87 centimeter. So long period average rainfall is basically LPA was meant to be updated every decade. Every 10 years the long period average rainfall is being updated. Now 89 centimeter average was computed based on a 50-year average from 1951 to 2000. So long period average rainfall is the average rainfall of the 50-year average rainfall. That is called the long period average rainfall. 50-year average rainfall. So when the 50 years is calculated from 1951 to 2000. The long period average rainfall was 89 centimeter. Again after 10 years from 1961 to 2010, the long period average rainfall was 88 centimeter. Again after 10 years, 1971 to 2020, this is the latest, 1971 to 2020, the LPA became 87 centimeter. It is given here 87 centimeter. So LPA of 1971 to 2020 is 87 centimeter. So this is updated in every 10 year. Okay, and in each time the last 50 year average rainfall is being considered. Okay, so this is the long period average rainfall. So as per IMD, rainfall become 903% of LPA, and last LPA is 87 centimeter. So 103% of 87 centimeter will be the rainfall of this monsoon, okay, upcoming monsoon from June to September. This is the data given by India Meteorological Department. Now, Central India will face above normal rainfall greater than 106% of LPA, means 87 centimeter. So South Peninsula will face greater than 106%. So Central and South Peninsula will face a huge rainfall, where Northeast and Northwest will face normal rainfall, 90 to 108% of LPA. Okay. So basically LPA is 50 years average rainfall. First is 1951 to 2000, it was 89 centimeter. Then from 1961 to 2010, this 50-year average is 88 centimeter. Then finally the last calculated year was 1971 to 2020. This 50 or the average rainfall is 87 centimeter. So basically the average rainfall is reducing in every decade. First was it was 89, then it became 88, and finally it became 87 centimeter. Okay, finally it became 87 centimeter. So India, the central and the peninsular will face more than 106% of 87 centimeter rainfall. So this is the forecast by IMD. Now, related to this thing is El Nino and La Nina. We all know what is El Nino and La Nina. I will discuss. Now, this is the Pacific Ocean. Okay, and this coast of Pacific Ocean in the America and the South American coast is called as the eastern coast, where the Asian coast and the Indian coast and the Australian coast of Pacific Ocean is called as the western coast. So American coast is eastern coast, Asian coast is western coast. Now, if El Nino condition occurred during El Nino condition, the water in this region, because the 0 degree equator passes through this region, through the region of the South America, okay, in this region. So basically the water near the South American coast is very hot, and water in the Asian coast, Australian coast is cold, okay, comparative to the water in the South American coast. So if El Nino condition occurred, the wind over the water of the eastern coast is very weak. The air over the eastern coast is very weak, and as it is very weak, it cannot drag the warm water from eastern coast to western coast. As the air is very weak in El Nino condition, it cannot drag the warm water from eastern coast to western coast. As a result, the eastern coast will be blessed with heavy rainfall, whereas western coast, Indian coast, Australian coast will see a drought condition. Okay, will face a drought condition. This is happening in El Nino condition. So El Nino condition is unfavorable for India, and a opposite of El Nino is La Nina. In La Nina condition, the air over the eastern coast of Pacific Ocean is very strong, and it drags the warm water from east coast to west coast, and as a result the cold water of the east coast will transfer to the east coast. Okay, so warm water come in the Asian coast and cold water go to the South American coast. As a result, Indian coast, Asian coast, Australian coast and the Southeast Asian coast will blessed with a heavy rainfall, where the South American coast, Peru, Chile, Brazil coast will face a drought type condition. So La Nina condition is favorable for India, and as per IMD report, in this year India will face La Nina condition. Okay. So India will face the La Nina condition. La Nina. So another name of La Nina is the girl, and El Nino, another name of El Nino is the boy. So El Nino condition is unfavorable for India, and La Nina condition, Spanish La Nina condition is favorable for India and Asian country. Now move to next topic. Indus water talks held on cordial tone. So Indian and Pakistani negotiators ended another round of talk as part of the Indus Water Treaty on cordial tone, said the Minister of External Affairs, describing the 118th meeting of the Permanent Indus Commission that took place in Delhi on May 30 and 31. The Ministry of External Affairs did not give any details on the issue that were on the agenda for the discussion. So May 30 and May 31, there is a meeting between Indian authority and Pakistani authority on the Indus Water Treaty issue. Okay, but our minister has still not released any data about the meeting. Okay, so this is the 118th Indus Water Treaty meeting. Now, what is Indus Water Treaty? It's a very famous. Okay, so basically the Indus River originated from the Tibet area and moved through Jammu and Kashmir. Then finally it enters into Pakistan, and the tributary of Indus like Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Bias, and Satluj also flow through India and then enters into Pakistani region and finally become the tributary of Indus. Okay, finally falls into this all four tributary of Indus meet Indus in the Pakistan region, Punjab region of Pakistan. So Indus Water Treaty is a water distribution treaty. So there is a huge dispute between India and Pakistan about the share of water of this five river. Okay, five river, because these all five rivers are flows through India and then enter into Pakistan. So there is a huge dispute between the water share between India and Pakistan, and there is a treaty between India and Pakistan that is known as Indus Water Treaty. It is a water distribution treaty between India and Pakistan brokered by World Bank. So the World Bank is the middleman. Okay, middleman. So who organized the treaty between India and Pakistan? That is World Bank, to use the water availability in Indus River and its tributary. It was signed in Karachi on 19 September 1960 by Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and Pakistan President Ayub Khan. The treaty gives control over the waters of the three eastern rivers, Bias, River, Satluj. So these three rivers, Ravi, Bias, Satluj, are called as eastern river, and Indus, Jhelum, Chenab are called as western river. Okay, so these three eastern river, Ravi, Bias, and Satluj, with a mean annual flow of 33 million acre feet to India, while control over the water of the three western rivers. So India has the total control of this three river, Ravi, Bias, Satluj. Means India can block the water, India can build any type of dam of any height, any capacity, anything India want to do, India can do over these three river. Okay, total jurisdiction on India. And this western flow river, Indus, Jhelum, Chenab. Now the three western rivers, Indus, Chenab, Jhelum, with a mean flow of 80 million acre foot to Pakistan. So Pakistan has the total control of this three river, Indus, Jhelum, Chenab. Pakistan will build their dam on this river, but India cannot build dam. There is a restriction to the Indian government that they cannot build dam of huge capacity on these three river to block the flow of river. Okay, because this is the life, these three rivers are the lifeline of Pakistan. So India cannot build huge capacity dam or any huge water storage system reservoir, so that there is no shortage of water in Pakistan. So that is, so in this three river the control is over Pakistan, and the below three river Ravi, Bias, Satluj, the control is on India. Now India has about 20% of total water carried by Indus system, while Pakistan has 80%. So total waters carried by Indus system, India has only 20% and Pakistan has 80% water share. Because these three top river Indus, Jhelum, Chenab have carry maximum water with them. The treaty allows India to use Western river water for limited irrigation use, unlimited non-consumptive use for such application as power generation, navigation, floating, property fish. It lays down detailed regulation for India to building project over the Western rivers. So India can use these three Western river for minor irrigation, for minor reservoir project India may use, but India cannot build a big dam or high dam or big reservoir over this three river. Okay, that is the main point of this of the treaty, Indus Water Treaty. So the top three Indus, Jhelum, Chenab will be fully controlled by Pakistan. The total water controlled by Pakistan, and India can use it only for minor irrigation, fishing, navigation, or building minor dam over this river. And the below three river, that is also called the Eastern river, that is Ravi, Bias, Satluj. The total control of water on Indian government can do any kind of project, big reservoir, big dam on this three river. That is Indus Water Treaty brokered by World Bank. Move to next topic. Defense Ministry signs 2,971 crore rupees missile deal. So this is the name of missile, Astra. So Ministry of Defense said on Tuesday that it has signed a contract with the Hyderabad-based public sector Bharat Dynamic Limited for supply of Astra Mark 1 developed by Defense Research and Development Organization at a cost of rupees 2,971 crore for deployment on fighter jet of Indian Air Force and Indian Navy. So DRDO built this missile Astra Mark 1 and give the license to Bharat Dynamic Limited to build the Astra Mark 1 missile, and currently Indian government Indian government has done a deal of rupees 2,971 crore that the Bharat Dynamics Limited to produce more Astra Mark 1 missile to be used in the fighter jets of Indian Air Force and Indian Navy. This is the news. Now, Astra is an Indian all-weather beyond visual range active radar homing air-to-air missile. It is the first air-to-air missile developed by India. Air-to-air missile means the missile will be released from air and it will hit another aircraft in air. That is air-to-air missile. Okay. Now, Astra is designed to be capable of engaging target at varying range altitude, allowing for engagement of both short range target at a distance of 10 km and long range target up to a distance of 110 km. So from 10 to 100 km, the missile can travel and hit the target. Now Astra has been integrated with Indian Air Force Sukhoi Su-30 MKI missile carrier fighter jet will be integrated with the Dassault Mirage 2000, that is Rafale, then HAL Tejas, HAL means Hindustan Aeronautics Limited Tejas, and Mikoyan MiG-29 in the future. So this missile will be inbuilded or connected with the Sukhoi Su-30 fighter jet, as well as Rafale, as well as Tejas, as well as MiG Biman, okay, in the future. Now, DRDO developed missile has a range over 100 km, giving the Air Force extended time to take on threats from across the border. These missiles are set to progressively replace all Russian import of long-range air-to-air missile in the future. So, the project is totally under the Make in India project. So, we slowly become independent from the Russian import missile. Okay, we developed our own missile through our own company. So there we should know about missiles of India and their property. So type, name of missile and property. Type is air to air and it is Astra. Active radar homing beyond visual range air to air missile. Then anti-radiation is Rudram. It is air to surface anti-radiation means. Then anti-satellite is Prithvi. It is exo-atmospheric hit to kill anti-ballistic missile. Then anti-ship is NSAM-SR. NSAM means Navy anti-ship missile, short range. So this is short range anti-ship missile. Then anti-submarine is SMART. Okay. So this is long range anti-submarine missile. Then anti-tank missile, it is very popular. Anti-tank missile is NAG. It is land and air launch anti-tank guided missile. Then ballistic missile, there are various ballistic missile like Prithvi, which is surface to surface short medium ballistic missile. Then Agni, surface to surface medium range intercontinental ballistic missile. Then Surya, surface to surface intercontinental ballistic missile. Then Prahar, surface to surface short range to intercontinental ballistic missile. Then Proloy, surface to surface short range intercontinental ballistic missile. Then move to cruise missile. Cruise missile very famous, BrahMos. Supersonic ship, air, land, submarine launched. So it can be launched from ship, air, land, submarine. Anti-ship land attack cruise missile. And another is Nirbhay, subsonic land attack cruise missile. Then surface to air, that is Trishul, short range surface to air missile. Akash, medium range surface to air missile. Maitri, quick reaction surface to air missile. These are the famous missiles owned by the Indian Defence. Move to next topic. Working to build new India, not vote bank. So Prime Minister yesterday was in Shimla and inaugurate the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Samman Nidhi scheme in Shimla. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi released the 11th installment of the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi PM Kisan scheme in Shimla on Tuesday. Under the scheme, 6,000 rupees is given in 3 equal installments to all the landholding farmer families. So 3 equal installment, 6,000 in a year. So in a year 6,000 rupees will be handed over to the farmer, okay, who have land, okay, and this 6,000 will be given in 3 installment, each of 2,000 rupees. The center said it would distribute 21,000 crore among more than 10 crore beneficiaries, farmer families. Each beneficiary would get 2,000 each in this installment. Very good news. Then heartbreaking news from sport. Heartbreak for India. So despite some impressive and fast-paced hockey, India was pushed out of the Asia Cup title race following a 4-4 draw with Korea. So India was performing very well. India sent their young player in the Asian hockey tournament, and the young player was performing great, and they reached the semi-final and they draw with South Korea in the semi-final, and the result is both scored 4 goals, but due to goal difference reason, India will not qualify in the final. Malaysia's 5-0 win over Japan earlier meant that an outright win was a prerequisite for India to qualify for the summit clash. India, Malaysia, Korea finished on 5 points each in the Super 4 stage, but the Virendra Lakra side fell behind on goal difference. So due to goal difference, India cannot qualify for the final. Now men's hockey Asia Cup. It's a very popular cup, very famous cup. Men's hockey Asia Cup is a men's international field hockey tournament organized by the Asian Hockey Federation. Only Asian country will take part in this event. The winning team become the champion of Asia and qualifies for the FIH Hockey World Cup. Now first edition was played in 1982 in Karachi and owned by Pakistani hockey team. And the last edition in 2007 it was organized in Dhaka, Bangladesh, and India won the last edition and India became the defending champion. Then in current edition 2022 it was organized in Jakarta, Indonesia, and India loses the final spot from the tournament. Okay. Now most champion is South Korea having 4 titles, while India and Pakistan both have 3 titles. So guys, this is from today's newspaper. If you like my discussion, please subscribe my channel, like my video. We will meet next day.